Chocolate in Russia is so good. It's so good. I don't know what it is, but you wouldn't think of Russia as like a chocolate place, but it's delicious. My dad immigrated from Palestine in his 20s, and my mom was an army brat, so she spent most of her childhood in Europe, so they wanted us to kind of have a similar experience with experiencing the world. So I'd been to a good portion of Western Europe, I'd been to the Middle East, and I'd been around America, and I was like, you know what, I'd really love to go to Russia. And then in the next session, the Rainbows were talking about the Russia trip, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's kismet, I have to go. It was all such a blur. I think in the beginning it was a lot of early mornings and late nights because they were just trying to like, you know, well, we were trying to stave off jet lag, and like they had a lot of stuff planned because like we weren't really used to the atmosphere or traveling on our own around Russia and stuff. And so I think they made it a point to sort of keep it more regimented so that we were, you know, in a group and had like actual plans and places to go. But by the time we were in St. Petersburg, I remember we had a lot of free time to just kind of explore the city. So in the mornings we would go out, we would see a museum or a cathedral or like a World Heritage site. And then the evenings we would pretty much have on our own. So we learned St. Petersburg pretty well. The Red Square, obviously, and the Kremlin, the Hermitage, which was, I love art. It was so cool just to be in that building and know I'm with all of those pieces. We saw like an early Da Vinci, which was so interesting. And then we had this fantastic tour guide named Katya in St. Petersburg, and she was so fierce. She was like 6 inches shorter than me, and she could get our entire group of like 20 through the Hermitage in like an hour. It was amazing. We saw Lenin's body. That was so weird. It was so creepy. I can't even describe. You know, going in, we're like, oh, this is so cool. And then we get in there and it's like, you know, I was nervous about interacting with the locals because, you know, we always hear like, oh, very stoic and rough and everything. But I didn't get that vibe at all. You know, I feel like Americans are generally like really loud and brash and everything, but all of the locals that we came across were very open and always willing to talk. Maybe they weren't as like goofy as we were, but it wasn't, I didn't get the feeling that that they were cold or rude. The stories that we learned were probably my favorite part of the whole trip, like how like Peter the Great and his son and the tension between them and how he ended up killing his own son because of the threat to his power. Like that's crazy. Or Catherine the Great, how she started out as this like daughter of a minor house and ended up being one of the greatest czarinas of Russia. Oh, and the poor children of the last Tsar and how they haven't, you know, they think they just found their bones, and seeing their resting place in the church, like that was so powerful. Russia, it's so huge, like geographically, historically, the influence that it has is so widespread, and I think that understanding that can help you understand other subjects and other parts of the world better.